And we are live. Welcome to another edition of DT Live. This will be a Saturday night chat, a free and open chat. Any of you guys that want to join me on the video conference call here, you can join me via Zoom, for those of you that have the Zoom client installed. All right. Am I live from Windows 10? Ask Hank. No, I'm not in Windows 10, sir. And if you're asking about the poll that I created of what OS should be my next OS on my main production machine, because the voting got a little weird the last couple of days, I went ahead and called an end to that particular poll. It seemed that most people wanted Ghost BSD. Most of the legit voting, if we take all the bot voting that came with some of Windows 10's votes, and then a massive bot voting for Seduction there one day, I'm going to try to do Ghost BSD. Ghost BSD is going to be the most difficult of those 5 OSs to try to live in, to do this kind of work, you know, live streaming, video creation. I'm not sure if it's going to work out or not, but I'm going to give it a try. When am I going to go ahead and give it a try? Well, I went ahead and ordered an IC dock, a 6-bay IC dock. I'm going to order a couple of cheap SSD drives next week. So sometime mid to late next week, I should have an IC dock and a couple of SSD drives to go in the IC dock. That way, I don't have to wipe out Manjaro that's currently on my main production machine. That way, if for some reason I just can't get Ghost BSD to function for me, I've still got a drive that's got a working Manjaro install on it. So the IC dock, which I've been meaning to order for a while, it's been in the plans for a little bit, is really going to come in handy for something like this, because I'm not sure how my Ghost BSD experiment is going to go. Give me just a second, guys. Noticing a little strange things going on here with the webcam. Let me play with the settings here. All right. Hopefully that cleaned up the picture a little bit. Back to the chat here. Of course, we had Hank here early. He says, "Hey, DTube, how you doing?" William Armstrong says, "Hi, how you doing, Will?" All right. Donkey, morning, DT. Good evening, Donkey. Eris is in the chat. He says, "Hi, DT. Thank you for your content. Much appreciated." All right, TJ Wolf is here. Richard is here. Randy, how you doing, sir? Andre is also in the chat. Yep, if only Zoom installed on my Arch. Well, I'm running Manjaro, Arch-based distro. Zoom is in the AUR, I believe. So look for Zoom in the AUR. It installs and works fine for me from the AUR. If for some reason it doesn't, you can go to the just Google Zoom, download. They have Linux installs for pretty much every distro, or you can actually like build it from source. I think they have like a standalone package that doesn't even require an installation. It just all, you know, unzips to a folder and you run it from that folder. I know I've done that with Zoom and Solus before. So if you're having problems with Zoom, you should be able to get it up and running. There's a couple of different ways to get it working. Yeah, Daniel's in the chat. He says, "Hello, how you doing, Daniel?" Jamie, watching for a while, first time live. Good to see you, Jamie. Are you getting your IC dock from Amazon? I am. I ordered it, well, no. I'm trying to think. I've got a couple of different things on order. I can't remember if I ordered it from, I think I ordered it from Newegg. I think I've got the IC dock coming from Newegg. Yeah, the stream hiccups, it's running 20x, 12px or something. I'm not sure. Yeah, stream hiccups, I'm not sure what you're asking there. Stream health looks good on my end if you're asking about the YouTube stream. Let's see. Yeah, Andre says weird. Weird about the stream hiccups, yeah. Yeah, 1080, 60p, yeah, that's what I'm trying to stream in, and it all looks good on my end from where I'm at. Let me see if... Yeah, I mean, I've got all looks good in YouTube's live dashboard. All looks good in OBS too, so you got a green in both of those, meaning the stream health Seems all right. Yeah, if the stream sometimes drops down to 144p for some reason, that does that on a lot of streams. And it seems to do that for no real reason sometimes. Just refresh the stream and then choose 1080p or 720p or whatever you prefer to watch it in. Let's see, Ben Fitzpatrick, he says, hi, Derek. Let's see, XXXX says hi. Michael Pate, how you doing, Mike? Says, it looks good, but there is a sound like water running in the background. That is interesting. Usually I don't have audio problems. Hold on just a second. I'm going to take a listen. Running in the background. I don't know. Could be just the hum of my computer. It is not the most quiet computer, but I don't know. You're listening to it on earbuds. I know a lot of times if you're listening on earbuds, you know, you pick up a lot of things like that. Also, it has been kind of raining on and off here today. Central air and heat, of course, you know, central air. Sometimes you can pick that up on a sensitive mic. Let's see. Yeah, Bobby, he says, hey DT, I'm glad you didn't have to do Windows 10. You know what, I might still take a look at Windows 10 though, as far as putting it on one of my machines and playing with it a little bit. Windows 10 actually would have been a lot easier to try to live in than what I'm going to go with, which is GhostBSD. I'm really not sure how this GhostBSD experiment's going to go. But if for some reason it just becomes apparent GhostBSD is just not going to work for me, maybe I go to Windows 10. Let's see. Americans will get that more often now. Net neutrality is gone, yeah. Let's see. It's smooth here in the Netherlands. Yeah. Yeah, first time here. Got it on Auto 1080. And Red Robbo is in the chat. He says, hi, Derek. Greetings from the Ubuntu Kingdom. Josh says, I don't hear it. Yeah, Andre says, it's just DT quietly taking a leak. He doesn't want to miss out on the chat. Very true. I'm like one of those competitive gamers, you know, that can't leave the chair. So they have, you know, thermoses and whatnot to do their business in. All right, we got Ben trying to join.
Hi, Derek. I'm going to have to have my camera off because I'm on my phone.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, unfortunately, my new tower does not have, that I just built yesterday, the AMD one does not have a microphone on it yet.
Okay.
Yeah, so, I spent 5 freaking hours building it last time with Jamie.
Yeah, that was your new AMD build with a Ryzen
5X.
Yeah.
And I did manage to overclock it on the stock cooler, and it's running fine.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I haven't. I'm probably gonna put LFS or Gentoo on it because it has 6 cores, 12 threads, so it runs pretty well. I'm thinking of rerunning it on my laptop alongside Windows 10 because, nonetheless, because my laptop, I probably screwed something up. It's been a couple days since I've tried it, so I'm gonna try it again and follow the handbook to a T this time and really get it done the proper way. So anyway, because folks, if you're trying to follow that handbook to a T, because if you don't, you're screwed. It's probably just something I did wrong that I didn't do right.
Yeah, the thing with the Gentoo install is it takes so long. You really don't want to mess anything up. So just take your time and read the wiki.
Yeah, read that.
Yeah, because it's not worth spending 5 hours, you know, to get something installed and realize you did something wrong back on step 3.
Yeah, I'm going with KD5.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, we know you like Plasma and you like XFC and the desktops you usually.
Yeah. I tried i3. It was good. But it was, oh my god. I don't hate it. It's just you know.
Right.
It takes a lot of work to get just the way you want it. I mean, as long as you have your own. Well, someone made me a config, but it was just like, I like it. I'm not going to do XXT this time. I'm going to do i3 and key. So, yeah.
Hold on just a second. So people are complaining about the audio a little bit, Ben. I guess they're getting an echo.
Let me put my headphones on.
Yeah. That's good. What it's going to be. You need to
have
some earbuds.
I'm putting on a headset.
So we're going to get some feedback. Yeah.
Is this better?
Yeah. It's definitely sounds louder. You guys in the chat, speak a little bit, Ben, and see if they can.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Okay, your audio's a little low now.
Let me turn it up. Is that any good?
No, it's still really low.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 4.
Yeah, I am not sure what's going on there, and they say it's still echoing. You know what? It's probably on my end. You guys are complaining about an echo. Hold on just a second, guys. I'm not sure what's going on there, and they say it's still echoing. You know what?
1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2.
Okay.
Yeah, let me
Hey, Ben, I'm going to mute you for just a second. Okay, guys, I muted Ben. Is the echo gone, or...?
Yeah, the echo's been gone. I think Ben had corrected it before you muted him.
Okay. Yeah, so I unmuted Ben. You can speak now.
Is my volume okay?
Yeah, your volume's good. Yeah, I was reading the chat.
1, 3, 1, 3.
Yeah, you're good. Because the chat, there is a slight delay. The stream and the chat, there's about a 20 or 30 second delay from what the guys in the chat are talking about to what's actually going on live.
Yeah.
So they were still.
Like I said, I've got a Linux of 1404 USB plugged in, and I'm just about half tempted to jump on that for Firefox.
Okay, they say everybody is echoing.
That makes no sense.
Well, here's what I'm going to do.
I'm not getting
nothing either.
Well, we're not listening to it on YouTube either.
Right,
we're listening to it through. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
so what I'm going to do is I
closed my YouTube app. So.
Yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to kill Zoom. I'm going to create a new video conference, and I'll post the link in the chat in just a second.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. Okay, so I'm going to post a link to a new video chat. Bobby says it wasn't me echoing, just the guests. Yeah, I don't know what would be causing that. I mean, it's got to be a Zoom problem. So, yeah, it sounds like YouTube is bleeding into Zoom. Yeah, I'm not sure what could have been causing that problem. We got a few folks joining back in. Dan, go ahead and say a couple of words.
A, B, C, D.
All right. Chat, does Dan sound all right? Or are we still getting an echo? Ben is back.
Sound okay now? Does sound all right?
Yeah, your audio's a bit better.
Yeah, I don't know what it was, but this time it prompted me to use internet audio, so I think that might have been the problem.
And they're saying Dan echoes. Slight echoing.
I'm not hearing any echoes over here, but I have the YouTube chat. That window is turned off for the sound.
Yeah, same here.
I'm using the Zoom window.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, it might be a pulse audio problem. I have no idea what is causing.
Yeah, I'm on my phone using.
Well, if it was echoing from other of them, you would be hearing it on Zoom.
Right.
Maybe this will help. I didn't have the earbuds in. I had the speakers on.
Okay. Well, yeah.
I have my headphones on too. It's a Bluetooth headset, so there should be zero echoing from my phone coming at all.
Yeah, there's like about 3 things you got to remember when you go on, and one of them's put your earbuds on, and one of them's turn on the mic, and the other one's to turn off the YouTube.
Yeah, I think they covered it. We're all on earbuds now. Everybody's got the stream muted. Yeah. That should have stopped it. Yeah.
Yep, we're good, man.
Yeah, I should have reminded everybody about that too. So that's my fault. I didn't remember.
Something to maintain, I think, for us.
Yep. Yep.
Target it. I'm just gonna watch.
Yeah, everybody's saying it's all good. Dan no longer echoes. I'm not
No, I'm
echoing.
fine.
All right.
Yep. Where's that?
All right, we got Siva joining us. How you doing? Is Siva's audio working? Might not be.
Can you not hear me?
Yep, I can.
We hear you, man. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, I just have my mic muted because, well, where I'm sitting, I'm not sure if you can hear it. The AC is going to be kind of loud.
Okay.
Okay.
And
Hell.
yep. Now it sounds as it should. Okay.
Yep.
All right. All right. So what we were talking about, Ben just built his new AMD Ryzen rig. He actually shared some of the parts list with us the other day.
And yeah, I'm running stable overclock. Everything's good to go. I'm about, once I finish this game here, I'm probably going to throw a Gentoo USB in there and see how long that thing takes to compile.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good test for it.
Yeah, that or maybe Linux from scratch. I don't know. I'm kind of tempted to see the compile times and see how either one works. Yeah, I'll probably just do Gentoo and.
Can you hear me?
Yep, your audio is working.
Howdy, Will.
Howdy.
I'm using my Android phone, so you're not going to get much echo or feedback on it.
Okay.
Ah. I'm using the Zoom Android app.
Yep. Yeah.
I'm using the iOS Zoom app.
Yeah, Zoom has clients for Android, iOS, Windows, Mac, Linux. So.
I'm on my new Ryzen build as well.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
And my laptop decided to go into standby mode.
Unlike me, I'm using Windows to play most of my PC games in. I could have used Linux to try it on, but unfortunately I'm kind of scared of the audio because I have multiple audio ports on my computer now, so I wouldn't be able to tell which one is the correct one.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that's going to be interesting when I hop over to GhostBSD in a week or two. Is I'm kind of concerned about gaming. I'm not sure.
Well, actually, hold on, Derek. Actually, there's something called Play on BSD that will install Wine for you. So that's wrong. You can get Wine on BSD. I checked it on FreeBSD. You can actually get it to work.
Yeah. I actually tried to install Wine in a VM the other day with GhostBSD, and I could not get Wine to launch after I installed it for some reason. But that was in a VM. You have to run
Wine CFG, and it should load.
Okay.
Yeah, because sometimes you do have to run that before it'll actually take.
Yeah. So what I might do is install Wine and then try to install Steam inside Wine. I don't know. We'll see if that works.
You have to run Wine CFG within the terminal, and it should load.
Okay. Well, I'll take a look at it.
Yeah, it should work. I mean, there shouldn't be any problem.
Also, I'm not sure how something like OBS is going to work in GhostBSD.
You should be able to get it from within the package manager if they have one.
It's in their package manager, but when I installed it, again, I played with it in a VM.
Honestly, I would do the updates first.
Yeah. It installs OBS, but it complains about compatibility issues with whatever version of Qt that they're currently running. I don't know.
Do the updates, then you should be fine.
Yeah. If not, if I get Wine up and running, I guess I could just run OBS and Wine too, because they have a Windows.
Yeah, if you
version,
have to.
No.
Yeah.
I've tried the PC, I tried the True OS thing, which DistroTube really doesn't like, but
no, I didn't like it.
I got it to work in my hardware a little, but it would freeze upon using the Intel settings, so it would just freeze out. So I'm like, I can't just.
Yeah.
Yeah, no one can.
Yeah, that's another thing that's, how well is my multi-monitor situation going to work? Obviously, I'm going to need the proprietary NVIDIA drivers. How does that work in BSD? I don't know. So we'll see.
I have a whole bunch of that stuff too also, and it makes me kind of spooky about going from Mint 18.3 to to 19 because everything works so well the way it is.
Yep. And I was just reading over on OMG Ubuntu, of course, the upgrade path is now available for those that want to upgrade from Mint 18.3 to 19. So they now have an upgrade path for you guys if you want to try the upgrade. Your best bet, though, really is to back up everything. Well, you should back up anyway, but you should back up all your data and be prepared to do a fresh install, just in case.
Yeah, Clem over there at Mint, he kind of says if you're on 18.3 and it's working great for you, you don't feel obligated to like update to 19. Like he's like, if it's working for you, keep in mind it's still supported for a long time. But it just if you want to, we have the update tool.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've never liked updating on static release distros, like from one version to the next. It's hit or miss. Even if it works, you know, you'll find bugs, things that broke along the way. Maybe it still works, but then you spend hours trying to figure out the things that didn't work for you. Usually it's better to just back up all your data and do a nuke and pave. Because a fresh install takes, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes. Where the updates, you know, they take a couple hours. That's if everything works right for you.
If you got to fix everything, you might as well go back to Windows.
Yeah.
Which nobody really likes that. Joe Collins did a thing where he went on Windows. He put it in a virtual machine, I guess, and he tried playing with it, and he was cracking all kinds of jokes about it.
No.
It was pretty funny. You should check it out when you get some time.
Yeah, I will. Yeah. Yeah, and people said they would really be interested in me doing Windows 10. Of course, you know, I did the poll, and of course, we got a lot of troll votes, a lot of people botting, but there were some people that were genuinely interested in seeing somebody like me use Windows 10 because I'm not a Windows user, haven't been in a long time. So I might end up doing that eventually anyway. Like I said,
we don't want to stop you from doing videos, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's the thing. If this Ghost BSD experiment just doesn't work out, maybe I just go ahead and do Windows 10 instead. We'll see.
Well, DistroTube is just asking for, as much as I tried out Debian testing one just this week, the whole entire system got trashed when I tried to upgrade everything.
Yeah. Well, that happens. Yeah. Rolling releases can do that. I mean, you just have to be prepared for that too. So.
I'm surprised Ben has had a stable time in Gentoo, though. I'm surprised he has.
Well, yeah. It's not necessarily stable. That's like people all the time. Is Arch stable? Is Gentoo stable? Is Tumbleweed stable? Well, it depends on the user. I mean, that word means different things to different people. I run Arch, and I've never like had a situation where I had to just completely wipe it out and reinstall. But you know what? Things do break. It's just I can fix them. The same thing with Ben and Gentoo. I'm sure, you know, minor things crop up every now and then that he has to fix.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's just how it is, you know.
Yeah.
Some minor thing crops up, you got to go fix it.
Yeah. And, you know, some people, as long as they can fix it, they'll say, well, that distro's stable. Now, in my opinion, that's still not stable. I mean, and my opinion of stable is, would your grandmother be comfortable running it? And no, Arch and Gentoo and Tumbleweed and Debian Sid.
My Nana doesn't even know how to use a freaking cell phone very well.
Exactly. So,
I mean, she's still on a flip phone and she hates it.
Yeah.
But she can't text, she can't do most anything with her phone. That's the problem.
Yeah, I really hate when people on these Linux forums and chat rooms mention that whatever rolling release they're on is stable. They should not be telling people that. That's because by its very definition, a rolling release is not going to be stable. That's not, you know, it's antithetical to what stable means.
Here comes old TJ.
Yeah.
Yeah, stable also means what kind of hardware you're exposing it to also.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm exposing mine to 6 cores, 12 threads.
Yeah.
So I have a total of 18, so Gentoo shouldn't take that long to install.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
My question for DistroTube is, what made you choose the Zoom client? Like, what makes you like that client?
It just seems to work well as far as, you know, the picture quality and everything. I don't like Hangouts. I've never liked Google Hangouts. I know that's what a lot of people like to use. The Skype client on Linux. Yeah, the Skype client on Linux kind of sucks. Jitsi, I've tried Jitsi. That's a free and open source project, but I haven't had good luck with it.
It's crap.
It really is.
I tried Skype on Linux in 2009 with Skype version, I think 6.0 or Skype 7, but when it was still had the beta tag, and I didn't like the way it was, just didn't like it. So Windows users could not do a multi-group video chat with Linux users at the time. It was a bin at the time, but
yeah, it was a vain attempt. Yeah.
I didn't really like it, but I did miss Mandriva Linux. And hi, TJ Wool.
Hey,
How you doing, TJ?
Hi, TJ.
He's having audio problems.
Yeah, he may not be able to hear us, or he may have mic problems.
Yeah, there's those three things you gotta remember when you do this.
Yeah,
okay,
you've
TJ.
got
TJ,
check get internet audio and see if that fixes it. Maybe.
Well, me using my Android phone sure takes out the hassle of having to fight to fix it.
Yeah. Yeah, if he can even.
Yeah, check your sound settings. Make sure it's the right input in Zoom. Go to settings.
Go to settings and then make sure everything's proper. Yeah.
To be truthful, this is the first video chat thing I've actually engaged in on is the Zoom platform. I had never tried Hangouts because no one's
Discord is good, but but it's not exactly open like most things.
Yeah, Discord works well if all you're wanting is the audio. Like a lot of gamers will live stream and they'll chat with the other gamers via Discord, and that's what I do sometimes on if I do a gaming stream. I'll just use Discord for that. It works for that, but for a video chat, Zoom is the best one I found. I mean, it just works. The video is good. The audio is good when you get it working. Hangouts, I've never liked Hangouts.
But I don't like if I can't hear my mic.
Yeah. And Hangouts has to work in the browser. Sometimes those browsers that you have to run them in, like Google Chrome, they're kind of bloated, heavy. You know,
Yeah, it doesn't work well in the Mac browser Safari.
Right. And I'm trying to stream. Yeah, I'm trying to stream while doing this, and opening up just Chrome by itself starts using a gig of RAM or more. So,
that's why I prefer to use Chromium or Firefox.
Yeah, where Zoom has the standalone client. That just works, where I don't have to open up a browser.
Yeah, the problem is with Chrome. Oh, shoot. Problem is with Chrome is that it.
Well, actually, there is Hangouts for Android, but it's only available on some Android devices. I have a tablet that uses Android 5.0 Lollipop, and it has Hangouts made in it.
Yeah, but I mean, I sometimes join like Total OS Today, Toss. He does all of his live streams using Hangouts, and when he invites people to join him, it's always through Google Hangouts. So I'll join his streams on that. I mean, Google Hangouts, it works.
Yeah, he likes to just hang out.
Yeah, and Big Daddy Linux does his Saturday night podcast, Big Daddy Linux Live, every Saturday night. He uses Zoom, which is, I joined those guys, most Saturday nights. So, and between Zoom and Hangouts, because I've used both, a bunch now, Zoom is just a better product. And Jitsi, I mentioned, I've tried open source stuff like Jitsi. Jitsi's garbage. Skype, I wouldn't even touch. So.
Exactly. I would say anybody that wanted to start doing this to actually download OBS and start playing with that first and test out their hardware and make a few recordings and see what your camera really sees in your room.
Yeah. Yeah, OBS, there's a lot to it. I've thought about doing more content about how I set up OBS and how to get up and running and something like OBS to record your desktop or to live stream live on YouTube or Twitch.
Yeah. There are some YouTube videos on how to get running fast in OBS and like I said, it's a great way to first, before you go on live with somebody like you, to actually set your stuff up with that first and see what it all looks like.
And, you know, what you can always do if you're worried about streaming, you know, everybody's always worried about that first stream because you haven't tested anything. You can't really test anything until you go live that first time. Just call your very first stream a test stream. Just title it test stream. If it goes well, great. If it doesn't, people are just going to say, well, it was just a test stream anyway. He's just checking things out. So, and that's what a lot of guys do. I see that a lot. You'll see, you know, live now, and then their title, it's a test. And a lot of times they won't have a picture, they won't have a audio. I mean, there's a reason why you might want to test it before you think, well, I'm just going to stream for 2 or 3 hours. Well, might not work out, you know, till you get some of the bugs ironed out.
Well, it's quite interesting to actually talk to DT, because I remember seeing one of his live streams and I saw him in Total Yesterday's chat. It's just quite surprising me I just felt nervous speaking a little bit to DT.
Yeah, and you know, it's funny because I have, you know, this channel that I've made close to 300 videos now on over the last 9 months. And I still get people sometimes that'll watch one of my videos for the first time and go, oh, you're Derek from Total OS Today, or you're Derek from Big Daddy, because they see me on, you know, some of these other people's streams, because I do join a lot of these other folks on their streams, and they don't even realize I have a channel of my own. Hey, TJ, you got your mic working yet? That's weird. I don't think he...
I don't know. He's kind of looking around like, what can I do now?
Yeah, like he can't hear us. Yes, your mic is still not working, TJ. If you've got the correct input set in Zoom, you might want to open up Pulse Audio Volume Control, PAVU Control, and make sure the input is set correctly in that. This is by far the most annoying thing about Zoom. Is probably a quarter of the people that join you on a video chat the first time in Zoom, in Linux anyway, the audio's not going to be working. I don't know why. Sometimes Zoom picks the wrong input device if you've got multiple input devices. Sometimes you have to play with the settings in Zoom. Sometimes you have to open up Pulse Audio Volume Control, make sure the correct input is set in Pulse Audio Volume Control.
I got the same mic you got, and I can't hear it through the headphones or the speakers or anything. I have to actually make a recording with OBS and then play it back to see if it's set somewhat close.
Yeah, that's going to be an issue with the Pulse Audio Volume Control. If you're recording something and you can't play it back, so you're recording something in like what, Audacity or you're some other program and you can't play your recording back?
Like I'm talking to you now, I can't hear my microphone in my earbuds. So I have no idea whether it's working or not. Yeah,
you can't hear it in the earbuds because you're not plugged into the mic itself.
Right.
Does that make sense? Yeah. But you can't be plugged into the mic and also be plugged into your speakers to hear our desktop audio. Yeah, that's the thing. So really... Yeah, if you're recording something by yourself, like most of my pre-recorded videos, I'm the only one speaking, I'll plug directly into the mic. That way, it's just picking up me and I can hear my own audio volume. But for this, we have to be plugged into the speakers because we have to hear everybody else through the desktop audio. Yeah.
Hello, Big Pod. How are you? Someone in Big Pod has joined.
Yep. I'm sure he's going to... He might take a minute to get his audio working too. I'm not sure.
Big Daddy Linux, if you don't mind me asking, DT.
What about it?
Who is he?
Big Daddy. He has a channel called Big Daddy Linux. That's his actual username, Big Daddy Linux. He does a podcast every Saturday night, a 2-hour podcast, a Zoom video chat just like this every Saturday night called Big Daddy Linux Live. And I usually join those guys every Saturday night, most Saturdays if I'm not working. And it's a good time. If you enjoy this kind of stuff, it's a great podcast to be subscribed to. Big Daddy also has a second channel called Destination Linux, where it's him and 3 other Linux YouTubers that do a weekly podcast called Destination Linux. All you guys really should be subscribed to Big Daddy Linux and Destination Linux. Those 2 podcasts are great.
Yeah, I believe those were the last 2 that I actually picked up after finding you, Switch, and Toss.
Yep.
But you guys are all kind of like in my neighborhood here in the U.S.
Yep. Well, I mean, there's a lot. I'm subscribed to at least 70 or 80 Linux YouTube channels. If you go to my YouTube channel and click the channels tab and look at all my subscriptions, I'm subscribed to about 70 or 80 channels, and they're all Linux, open source, tech related. And there are people from around the world. I know we've got a couple of Englishmen, Zebedee Balls, English Bob, EB, also previously known as the Windows Help Guy, Trucking on Linux. He changes his channel name like every other week, yeah. But those guys, of course, are in England. PC, TLC, Colin, PC, TLC,
there's another
Australian.
Englishman.
Yep.
There's actually one called by the name of Chris Ware Digital. He's also Linux, that does Linux videos too. He's also another.
Yeah, I watch a lot of Chris Ware. He's good. Let's see. I've got a channel that I'm subscribed to from a German fellow, Unix.eu. And it's great. Half of his videos are in German, unfortunately, but he does occasionally videos with English too. So, but his videos are fantastic. Yeah, I mean, there's folks from around the world. Adrian Linux Tricks is another one. He does a lot of videos about Calculate Linux, and he is French, so all of his videos are in French. Yeah, just check out a lot of the stuff in my playlist or my channels list, and if you want a broad selection of Linux YouTubers.
So sorry.
Go ahead.
My question for DT is, I wonder that I can see you're using Linux Mint in the background. I see you got a microphone like that. I wonder how did you come up with all this before when you were a Windows user?
I haven't been a Windows user in like 10 years. I haven't used Windows in forever.
I'm assuming you probably. I wonder, when did you first discover your first Linux distro the very first time?
Oh, okay. Well, I knew Linux existed since like the late 90s, building websites and stuff like that. You know, most web servers are going to run Linux. So a lot of the servers that I had, of course, they're, you know, remote servers, managed servers, sometimes unmanaged servers that I'd have to play around with a little bit. They all ran Linux. Back then, it was mostly Red Hat. Nowadays, you see a lot of CentOS and Debian servers for web servers, and Ubuntu LTS are servers too. But Linux on the website, or on the desktop, that is, wasn't a real thing until, I don't know, around 2007, 2008. You really started hearing about people actually living in Linux on their desktop. Because that was when Ubuntu really kind of exploded. So Ubuntu 8.04 was the first one I actually installed on like a desktop and tried to live in. And I loved it immediately. And then shortly after that, the Windows installation I still had at the time, Windows XP, was taken over by malware. Basically, this hacker held my computer hostage. If I didn't pay him a certain amount of money, you know, he would fix my computer for me. Well, since luckily I was already trying out Linux anyway, so you know what, I was planning on making the switch at some point. That just happened to be the day I made the switch. I'm like, you know what, screw this. Windows gone forever. I just installed Ubuntu, and that was it. I never went back to Windows.
If you don't use it, people won't ask you to fix it.
Yeah. So, and I haven't had a machine that ran Windows since then. I think I bought one laptop since then that came pre-installed with Windows because I needed a machine in a hurry, and it had Windows Vista installed on it at the time, and I never even booted Windows up on that thing. I got it home and immediately, you know, formatted the drive and installed whatever Linux distro I put on it at the time.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, so Ubuntu, a little history. Ubuntu, you know, got started late 2004 when they arrived on the scene, but really around 2006 to 2008, Ubuntu was making a real push as far as, hey, Linux is for the desktop. It's not just servers anymore. And, you know, you started seeing it around in a lot of web forums, tech forums, you know, people living in Ubuntu and having good experiences with it. And that's what prompted me to give it a try. So
I see. So DistroTube is quite interesting. It's quite interesting to see how DistroTube tries out rolling release distributions, even though that's a total estimate, a slight pun at where I've been watching too much DistroTube on rolling releases when I was in his live stream.
Well, I mean, rolling releases, he loves to talk about me being unstable because I run unstable distros. He's right. I mean, I mentioned earlier in the stream, I agree. Rolling releases are not stable. By their very definition, they're not stable. Stable, think about, we were just talking about web servers. What OS are servers running for the most part? I can tell you, you see a lot of Debian. You see a lot of CentOS. You see a lot of Red Hat. You see a lot of Ubuntu LTS. That's what servers run. You don't see any rolling releases on servers. Why? Because they break. They just, you know, there's a reason, you know, we have things like Debian stable. You set it and you forget it, you know, basically. So.
And the rolling releases are just for people to test them out and find all the bugs.
Right, and that's why I have why I've been doing these rolling releases since starting this channel. And I never did rolling releases before this channel. Well, I say I never did it. I did check them out, but living in them the way I live in them now was not something I normally would do.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
On OBS it worked, but Zoom didn't detect my audio for some reason.
Okay.
Big Pod, sorry. It sounds like you're French.
No, I'm not. I am European, but I am from Slovenia.
Oh, sorry.
What? Sorry for being from Slovenia? Come on now.
I didn't know. It kind of confused me for a little bit.
Glad you could join us, Big Pod.
Normally, I get confused for being a Russian, but okay.
No, yeah. There is that stereotype that all Eastern Europeans sound the same.
We're not Eastern European, but okay.
How are you able to see the different video? Like, how is the audience able to see different people talking on the video if we're all in Zoom chat?
Well, you see at the top of the screen on you guys' Windows, go to Gallery View, and you will look at the exact same thing I'm looking at.
Okay.
Well, with all of our talking heads stacked on top of each other. And then I'm just streaming that through OBS.
Oh, you can raise hand or lower hand.
It is on YouTube to begin with. He picked this up from YouTube and used the link.
Yeah, I think he's just asking probably how I got this in OBS. Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
Yeah. There's a setting in OBS that will allow you to take any window on your computer, whatever program happens to be in that window, and put it in OBS. Now, I just tell it, put Zoom, you know, in this scene.
Well, I'm on an Android phone that I can do multi-window, so I have the video going down below, muted, and I have the Zoom up above the same window. Hold on. Let me share this screen so you can see what it looks like. Screen, this is what it looks like right here. As soon as it loads.
Yeah, this might take a minute.
DT, are you looking at your comments?
No, which ones?
The ones on YouTube.
No, I haven't. Did I?
They have no idea.
Yeah. Oh yeah, what's going on here? Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm kind of glad you let me in because I'd be still sitting there typing with the rest of them.
Yeah, when I do these video chats, I can't really pay attention to you guys and the guys in the YouTube chat, unfortunately. I try to catch things every now and then. If you guys are asking me a specific question in the YouTube chat, though, it's best to just mention my name. That way it highlights it for me. That way I can pick those things out. If you've got something you really want to ask me. Okay, you got your screen share.
Just flipped out.
Yeah, that is. He is screen sharing.
Box and Dropbox.
That is William sharing his screen.
Oh yeah, that's. I want to show you real quick what I did.
Yep.
So.
Yeah. So that is the screen sharing feature in Zoom. Yeah. Like I can show you guys my desktop through Zoom. That's basically what that is.
That's dangerous to some of us.
Yeah.
It's gonna echo out. I'm gonna keep doing that little mirror effect when I do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Now Hangouts has that same feature where you can share your desktop with everybody that's in the Hangout with you. It's a neat little feature. You know, if you really want to show somebody something on your computer or how to do something on their computer, you know, in a video conference.
So what's going on in chat? I can see the chat on my phone through multi-window, but the chat text is a little small, so
yeah.
I'm on a small screen, so I'm not able to interact with chat and do this at the same time.
Yeah, on mobile, the YouTube chat is probably not something you can follow along with.
Yeah,
Because, the screen. Yeah, the screen is just too small. Yeah.
I can see it. I just have the YouTube screen muted.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Can hear.
Yeah, let me see. Yeah, checking out some of the chat here.
Yeah, they'd love to hear from you.
Yeah. We've got quite a few people.
Yeah,
Carl,
60 people are going,
yeah.
howdy, DT.
Yeah. Let's see, Richard Addison, FearX, Carl Schneider, he's the man. He mentions screen sharing ruins everything. Yeah, I don't like sharing screens in the middle of these video chats because, it freaks everybody out if they don't know what's going on. Like Dan's thinking something's going on with his computer, and it's really just William sharing his screen.
That was me. Sorry, I just wanted to surprise people.
Well, you did warn us, but yeah, we should have told everybody, hey, something strange is about to happen here, because it happens, on their screen too. It just takes it over.
Sorry about that.
Oh, that's cool. Let's see how many folks. Yeah, we got, actually, you're right, a lot. 60 people in the chat this evening for a Saturday night. All you guys should be at the club. So we got
I cannot go to the club.
Peter, Mr. F, one of my favorites, Mr. F. Kingo Games. I'm not sure.
I'm having a DT, like a DistroTube party.
Yeah. Let's see. He's not able to use his webcam audio with Zoom. That's TJ. So TJ's still trying to join us on the video conference here, but he's not able to get his audio working. So I'm not sure. What?
How's that GhostBSD going?
I played around with GhostBSD the last couple of days a little bit in a VM and on a live USB. I haven't installed it on my main production machine yet because I ordered an IC dock. I'm waiting for an IC dock to come in and a couple of extra SSDs. That way, my working installation of Manjaro, I don't have to wipe this out. I can keep this.
How big are the SSDs, by the way?
I ordered 256 SSDs.
Nice. And what is the device you were talking about? Because I heard of a thing called Etcher, and Etcher has an Etcher device that lets you etch images to USBs and SD cards.
And the device I'm talking about is called an IC dock. It is a drive bay.
How many drive bays can it support?
They make a 4-disc version, a 6-disc version. I think they make an 8-disc version. Anyway, I ordered the 6-disc version. What you do is you take your optical drive out of your computer. You just unplug the optical drive. You don't need it anymore. Nobody uses optical drives. And the IC dock actually sits in that slot that your DVD drive sits in. And it holds, 6 SSDs. Or however many you can afford to buy at the time. So
it almost sounds like an etcher machine where you take one thing and you put in you put in like multiple drives and you put anything you want on them and switch them out. But the Etcher machine that Etcher offers is actually like that sort of, where you plug in one source image, burn it across 10 or 20 different USB sticks, you put a Linux machine on, like burn it across many different USBs to distribute or to install on multiple computers like in a computer farm.
ICDoc is basically just like on the servers you have in front of the machine, in front of the server you have a bunch of the hard drive spaces. You just plug the drives in. That's ICDoc is just like that.
Yeah, it's just the swap drives. That's all.
Special.
How did you come up with your name like that? That's interesting.
It's basically because I live in part of Slovenia which is called Podgorje, and I'm kind of fat.
Ah. I can't really I pronounce this Big Pod Gurk. I'm not exactly Slovenian to pronounce it very well.
Yeah. Most people don't use Big Pod Gurks, but I'm totally okay with Big Pod.
Yeah,
somebody in the chat was asking about Diaspora and Mastodon. Just real quickly, I don't mention these enough on my channel. Diaspora is a free and open source. It's a decentralized sort of Facebook alternative. Really nice. Check it out. Mastodon is a decentralized Twitter alternative. So you guys know I quit using Facebook and Twitter a couple of months back. I deleted my accounts off of those. I signed up over on Diaspora and Mastodon. I don't hang out on Diaspora that much because I really never cared for the whole Facebook experience anyway. But I did like Twitter. I just didn't like Twitter as a company. But Mastodon, I do hang out on Mastodon every now and then. For those of you that want to check me out on Mastodon, just do a search for Mastodon, DistroTube. Probably in Google, it'll come up with my profile in Mastodon. Yeah, it's federated. That's correct.
I kind of just gave it all up once I got into Linux and got hooked up with you guys.
Yeah.
There's enough videos you guys put out to keep anyone busy.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I really don't like social media. The only reason I use it is for purposes of this channel to connect to the viewers. Sometimes, like doing a stream like this, sometimes I may do a quick post on Mastodon like an hour ahead of time. Hey guys, I'm going to be streaming at 6 o'clock or whatever. That way, a couple hundred people that follow me over on Mastodon, they know I'm going to be here. They might want to join us on Zoom. I didn't do that this evening, but a lot of times I will give those guys a heads up when I got something planned.
I keep Facebook around just because of some schoolmates I still talk to, but otherwise I would delete that too.
Yeah. Yeah, I hated Facebook. I hated being on Facebook. But Facebook, the few months I had it, I signed up as soon as I started this channel on Facebook. And I got quite a bit of people following me over on Facebook because of this channel. A lot of people interacting with me. But when the whole Facebook privacy scandal came out, I just couldn't be there anymore. And I couldn't recommend all those people asking me about Linux and, support questions. I couldn't recommend them to hang out there anymore. So, you know what? It's like, guys, I'm leaving. Come join me over on Diaspora and Mastodon if you can. If you can't, I understand. But
by the way,
I couldn't be there.
Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, go ahead.
Here's actually a hidden thing. The Zoom video client for Android has a driving mode for iOS and Android. So if you're driving or out somewhere, you just swipe it and it locks your video and microphone until you swipe back to restore it.
Okay. I've never actually joined a Zoom chat on a mobile device. I knew they had a mobile client, but obviously I'm always sitting here when I do these things.
It's interesting because DT, I don't know, but I wonder, so what is the different computer you use to live stream? Which one do you use to try out Linux distributions with, the one behind you?
Hold on just a second. Somebody's asking me for the Zoom link because I did not post the new one in the show's description, and I should have. Let me change that in the description. I posted it in the chat. Anybody that wants to join, click that link. I'm glad somebody mentioned that in the chat, by the way. That the old link is no longer working. The old link is no longer working is because we killed the first conference room we were in. because we were having some bugs. All right, so now the show's description should have the correct link. Also, in the chat, I posted a link. So anybody that wants to join us on Zoom. All right, you were asking about my machines, William? What was the question?
The one behind you in the, what is the one you used to live stream? The one in front of you and the one behind you?
The one, yeah. I've got 3 monitors in front of me connected to this tower. So.
The one behind you is the one you try out Linux Mint with.
Yeah, I've got Linux Mint running on this laptop. I also have another laptop, a Toshiba Satellite. Currently, it's running Antergos. But yeah, I use those laptops to hop on most of the time.
That's interesting. I've never really figured to use more than one machine. I mean, I have a desktop that I use to run Windows on. As far as I know, I've never really. I used to have luck with the old Linux distributions ones back in 2009, and the older distributions such as PC Linux OS 2009 and the older Linux kernel version 2.4. I think the newer ones might not run on older machines after 2013 or 2018. No, wait a minute. I think the old kernels may not work on the newer machines, only the older ones, like 2007 old, as far as it goes.
No.
The old kernels won't work on the new machines?
Nope.
Well, I'm using the one that is packaged with Mint 18.3, and it's working on a Ryzen 7 processor and a brand new Asus.
What I meant was the kernel version 2.4 to kernel version 2.4.
Oh, really old.
Kernel version 2.4. Yeah, that you're talking about some ancient kernels there. Yeah. So.
DT. Do you have any good Linux to have in VMs? Because I would like to add some more to my list of VMs I have currently.
As far as good Linux for VMs, give me just a second here, guys. I'm going to share my. Actually, I'm not going to share my screen to you guys, but everybody that's watching on the live stream will see this. So you guys in the chat. Well, you know what? I'll share it with everybody. Give me just a second.
I have like 20 VMs right now, and I have like more than 1.5 terabyte of hard drive space available.
Big Pod, are you watching the live stream?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, that's all the VMs I have installed on this Manjaro installation right now. I have Antergos, Arch, Arco, Calculate, Gentoo, Sebian, Seduction. I have Red Core Linux. I have Fedora, SUSE, Mint 19, Lubuntu, Kubuntu, Xubuntu, Mainline Ubuntu, Tails, Peppermint, TinyCore, Bodhi, Elementary, and PenGuy. So
all right,
you deleted the Hannah Montana, huh?
I had to delete Hannah Montana for space.
Why is it so bad, Derek?
Why was Hannah Montana so bad?
Yes.
Too much pink.
Because, well, no, it was KDE version 4.2, which was one of the worst desktop environments ever made. Yeah.
I never knew that version of KDE was so god-awful.
Oh, yeah, it was horrible. That was, right after they made the switch from KDE 3.5 to over to 4. When KDE 4 first came out, it was complete and total garbage. It was just a bug fest. It was slow. Things crashed.
Basically, putting it simply, it was crap.
Yeah. Imagine, you remember when GNOME went from, GNOME 2 to GNOME 3, and everybody hated that? It was 2
was a hell of a good desktop, I will say.
Yeah, it was even worse with the KDE guys when they went from 3.5 to 4.
Dude. I mean, GNOME 2 was a great desktop. It had great features, great stability. And then all of a sudden they bring out this version 3, and it's like,
Yeah, Peter in the chat said
it was hard to theme, it was hard to tweak. It just made you want to pull your hair out.
Yeah, Peter in the chat says he's disappointed that I don't have more VMs than that. I should have double those VMs. I do have this external SSD. There are some VMs that are not on my machine that are on this external SSD. But Big Pod was asking about good Linux distros to run in a VM, as far as they just work in a VM. Because they already are set up for VirtualBox, all the main Ubuntu editions, they just work. Mint just works. Fedora just works too. SUSE is good. Yeah. If you want some rolling release distros to try, Eric Dubois is doing really good stuff with Arco Linux. You know, try the main edition of Arco that comes with XFC, i3, and OpenBox all installed. It works great in a VM as well.
Yeah, Arco works really well.
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
Tomorrow gonna do the whole Gentoo install, and I'm kind of scared right now.
Yeah, the Gentoo install is not bad. Yeah.
My God.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Hell with it. I'm going to make a Gentoo stream tonight just to help those people out.
Yeah.
I'm just having to switch my face off to my dog just to avoid my face being on for so long.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, guys. Right after your stream, Derek, I'm going to set up OBS on a live USB stick and record how to install Gentoo.
Yeah. And, you know, when I made that Gentoo video I made, people were asking me to do a live stream of that. And I was like, you know what? I did a live stream for that Arch install I did. I mean, I've done a couple of Arch installs on a live stream because it goes pretty quick. I can even chat with people and, you know, be done in an hour, you know, doing an Arch install. But the Gentoo install, you know, the kernel, compiling the kernel takes an hour or better. You know how much dead
Unless
time?
You're on my computer where it has
yours might take a little faster. But even
I've got 18 freaking cores. It won't take that long.
Yeah.
Thank you to Katrina Anderson for the response, or Katrina Johnson for the response of my own dog.
Yeah, cute dog. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's without a guest star here. My face being on.
Yeah, the thing with doing
I had to go into a private Zoom hangout with TJ to help him get his sound working.
Okay.
Yay, TJ.
Hey, Tim, I see.
Buddy, I love you.
Okay. The video is really strange.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, TJ is working.
Yeah, you're coming through.
All right.
Yeah, we hear you fine, TJ.
Hey, Tim, your audio is working, but your video, there's some strange stuff going on.
Yeah, his video's a little messed up right now. I can see the abnormality in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might want to check the video settings in Zoom.
Settings there, buddy.
Yeah, that's really, really strange.
By the way, if you hear my dog bark, woof, and jump, that means someone is coming home to the door.
My dog
you'll hear him
whenever somebody comes to the door or whatever. She goes, rah, 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 rah.
Yeah.
That's about the best impersonation. She's like really loud yakking at the door.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of distros that don't work well in VMs, a lot of the really extreme minimal stuff, like Tiny Core, Puppy, those kinds of things that there's almost nothing to. Sometimes those things don't work well in a VM. Really minimal stuff, you know, command line install distros like Arch and Gentoo, they may work well eventually, but of course you have to put them together. So,
also, I found Ubuntu, the studio version, 1804. That one's a rough ride in a virtual machine as well.
Okay.
Yeah, couldn't set that one up.
Yeah.
Had problems.
Yeah, I would imagine that would be a little weird too. It comes with the Jack server installed by default. Yeah. I wonder how audio is in a VM with that.
With the Ubuntu Studio?
Yeah.
I have none.
You have no audio in it?
It don't work at all.
Well, that answers that question. So
the installer puts you through a rough enough ride.
Yeah.
And it'll freeze up if you try and enable both the input and the output. It locked up my entire machine.
Holy hell.
Yeah, I had to just power the machine off and restart it.
It's interesting because someone said Max Headroom in the chat.
Yeah. You know Max Headroom?
I used to... I've heard of it a little bit, but I don't know much about it.
And you might not be old enough to remember that particular character on Cinemax in the early days of
Born in the
Cinemax.
90s, so there you go.
Yeah. You're definitely not old enough to. You.
I thought it was MTV, but I could be wrong.
No,
it
it wasn't.
It was used in a Pepsi commercial or something like that too.
Well, yeah, it was used everywhere, but what was it? I thought it was on Cinemax. It might have been some of the early MTV stuff too. I don't know.
I'm old enough I should remember, but I'm so old I'm starting to forget.
Yeah, that was in the early days of cable TV. So.
I'm born in 1992, so there you go. It tells you how old I am now.
That's the year after I was born, Will.
Ah. Interesting.
Huh.
So, by the way, Ben, my biggest question is, you like Gentoo so much. You ever thought about developing your own programs from scratch?
Yes, and... oh, God.
Yeah.
The closest I've ever done with that is LFS, but you won't see me doing anything worse than that.
Okay, I take your point, Ben.
Well, are you asking him, as far as developing his own programs, or are you talking about like creating a distro or like his own spins?
A program, a simple small program that anyone can use and play with.
Yeah.
It's
you won't see me do that shit. No, sir.
Language, Ben.
Sorry, but yeah, Will, you will not see me do that.
Yeah.
Creating a program is really easy. Just so you know, programming, you can just compile a program. That's it.
Yeah, I mean,
right.
you don't even.
Yeah, that's as far as you're gonna see me go in life.
I mean, it depends on what we're calling programs here.
Hello World is technically a program.
I mean, technically, yeah. I can write something in Python right now and load it up to my GitLab page, and I can call it a program. But is it really?
Yeah, you won't see me actually hand code something. No freaking way.
I tried to build a desktop on my own once before, and I managed to decompile the whole system in one night. Oops.
Woo!
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, so I can build it, I can reverse it.
Yeah, present arms in the chat. This video has been demonetized. No,
that was a mistake. Sorry.
No, I think it takes a little more than that to be demonetized. It doesn't take much more than
one accidental word to.
Actually, that's actually bad words don't actually get you demonetized right away.
Yeah.
It was just a slip, I didn't actually mean to say it.
Yeah.
Well, either way,
it happens.
It happens. Yeah.
Ben, did you ever create your own distro? Or like a
spin? Make my own. You mean like a respin or just from scratch?
Yeah,
respin. Because who does from scratch?
I've made a respin. I've done LFS. There's no question about that. But LFS on this 18-core AMD. Woo!
Yeah, doing
it's 6 cores, 12 threads.
DT?
What?
I got a pun on Puppy Linux. This is my Puppy Linux right here. A dog that I have to sometimes keep under control that likes to go all over the place. It's a pun I'm trying to make off of Puppy Linux. So, a pun.
But yeah, building your own distro from scratch, like building off of Linux from scratch, would be a chore. Now, just doing your own custom spin of something like, Ubuntu or SUSE or Manjaro.
I know
that's doable.
I know that Dan Midfinger, before he passed, he made a tutorial on how to make your own Arch distro.
Yeah, well, you know what? Probably a lot of people followed that too, because there's a million Arch-based distros out there right now. So
I've always wanted to make my own, Derek.
Yeah.
What the hey?
You make it, you own all the support for it.
That's the reason I don't do it. People ask me all the time, hey, why don't you, you love OpenBox. Why don't you make another OpenBox distro for all of us based on, Arch or Gentoo or what name the distro? And I'm like, because if I put that thing out there, you guys would bug the hell out of me about support. Yeah, I don't want to be anybody's support channel.
you see, if I knew enough
Hi, Steven.
if I knew enough on how to customize OpenBox really good and good looking, I would do it. But I don't know how the heck to do that, so ain't gonna happen. Until I get more familiar with OpenBox and how to set it up, theme it, that sort of thing.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't want to put any.
I might consider it, but I don't know enough about OpenBox.
Yeah, I'll put config files out there for, you know, OpenBox or Xmonad or whatever. I put my configs up, but as far as putting an ISO out there for people to try, the minute you do that, it's your distro. When things break, they're going to contact me. Hey, why doesn't this work? How does that work? And
yeah, and it'll just be invigorating.
Yeah, it would just be too much. Even if I tell them ahead of time, hey, try this at your own risk, I'm not supporting it, you would still have people bugging you about it.
Yeah. So. I mean, for the sake of the live stream I'm going to do later on tonight, I think it'll be best to do it on my desktop while still doing it on my laptop, because that way I can have similar configs and that sort of thing.
By the way, DistroTube, I call this a DistroTube party because there's over like almost 12 people in here in the
hangout.
Yeah.
Steven, how you doing? I see you're joined.
I'm doing fine. I'm trying to break you know, getting into this.
Yeah. Well, you've already accomplished one thing. Audio's working, so it seems like we have a lot of people that join that audio is not working right away. So
I had to show TJ how to set up his audio, which was fine.
Yeah, that's the one thing with Zoom. Sometimes you join and the audio is not configured right.
I know this is a Linux show, but I'm half tempted to see how well Horizon handles a Hackintosh.
Yeah, good luck with
it. Not
well,
very
actually, my friend Naresh, who I'm one of the helpers of his website, he developed an AMD kernel for Mac OS, and I'm half tempted to try it.
Yeah, if it's a special kernel, it might work, but otherwise, probably not, because it's.
My dog jumping.
I don't know how good or stable. I don't know how good or stable it will be, but
well, if you want stable, you probably don't need to be running a Hackintosh anyway. You probably just need to stick with Linux.
Apple doesn't really care. It's, you know, it gives them more users. So, you know.
Yeah. As long as you're connecting to iTunes, I guess they don't care.
They are a minority anyway. But, you know, majority of Apple users just, I don't know. Anyway.
Hey, Ivan, is your audio working, sir? You see Ivan sitting quietly. Not sure if he's having issues connecting.
I probably would never go for macOS because I'm more like...
My God, leave meeting.
Windows and Linux, and that's it.
Yeah. I just stick to Windows these days. Though in a couple of weeks, I'm going to give BSD a try. We'll see how that goes.
Oh no!
Yeah, but because I've got the IC dock and the extra SSDs coming, my working installation of Manjaro is not going anywhere. I'm going to leave that drive just as is. When I get the new IC dock and the extra SSD drives, I'm going to put Ghost BSD on one of them. That way, you know, I can still come back to this Manjaro installation if something goes horribly wrong.
Well, if you got a second bay in your machine, you can just put it next to the new hard drive and dual boot.
Yeah.
If you're going to cheat,
well,
if you're going to cheat, do it right.
Well, you see, technically I won't be cheating because I can actually just unplug this drive once I get the other drives. I can say, you know, I'm not even dual booting because the drive that's got Manjaro on it won't even be in the machine.
I'm still kind of jaded if you didn't go for Windows.
Well, you know what? I probably will take a look at Windows because I know some people really wanted to see that anyway, so I might take a look at Windows.
That was fun to see.
I might put Windows on one of my laptops, or what I might do if Ghost BSD just goes completely the wrong way, I may just put Windows 10 on my main production machine for this month if I can't get what I need to get done in Ghost BSD. So
I have 10 in a VM, and it's every bit as nasty as everybody says it is.
Yeah, I took a look at
the problem, you know,
I took a look at Windows 10 in a VM. It was horrible. In a
I
VM.
might be the
honestly,
lucky one, but I have
know-
no problem with it. Like updates are not problem, and a lot of stuff is not a problem for me.
I'm drinking sparkling water.
Every time crying about updates, how updates
Yeah.
the machine. You know,
When I
Can you
first,
guys still hear me?
for me, it doesn't
Okay.
work. Doesn't do any of this stuff.
when I first installed it, it updated for like 4 hours.
Whoa, you have an old iPhone.
Yeah.
Hey guys, we got
You
somebody
can-
that's got some audio coming through. Make sure
You
the
can
stream
download
audio is
the new
muted.
iPhone
Yeah,
from
who is
Microsoft site for free. So
Yeah, one of us needs
Echoing
to
in
mute and fix their audio.
it's
Okay.
TKO has.
Yeah, it might be. Let's see. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Make sure you're.
I'm jumping off.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're getting some
TKO
feedback.
needs to mute and fix your audio, man.
Yeah, Tim. Check your audio. Make sure it's muted if you got.
Did you hear me at all, DT?
Yeah. Do you have earbuds? Because you really need to be listening through the earphones so that the speakers are not coming through your microphone.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna mute you for a second, Tim.
I'll be right back, guys. I gotta take care of something.
All right.
Don't mind me, DistroTube. I'm just drinking me some seltzer water.
I
Yeah.
And
probably got something to go through, but
don't mind me if I go dark for a while because I'm putting like 6 megabits through here.
I'm really new
Okay.
to this Zoom anyway, DT.
Okay. Yeah. The problem is you have to make sure the desktop audio, because you have to listen to us. Make sure you're listening on earphones if you got earphones.
Okay. Yeah, the problem is.
Does that make sense, Tim?
The desktop audio, because you have to listen to us. Make sure you're listening on earphones.
Otherwise, it's going to bleed through. We're going to get this weird echo effect.
I'll do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
I'll plug them in there and I'll go back to that menu.
Yeah. Otherwise, your speakers are going to pick up on your microphone, and it's going to have this weird echo. Yeah.
All right.
DT, a little bit of advice if you're gonna go Windows 10.
Yep.
When you do install it, go check your Windows Update settings and check and set the active hours so it doesn't do updates like in the middle of while you work. That's
the horror story everybody says, is that you're in the middle of something and your machine just reboots and
it did that once to me. It asked me if I want to reboot. It never automatically rebooted. That's people who click whatever they see on the screen. It never does it automatically. It asked me when I want to reboot and when are my active hours. I said active hours, and it never rebooted while I worked or even asked me to reboot. And I also know that a couple of times actually started up in the middle of the night at a time I have set up for updates.
Yeah. Just real quick. Yeah. In the chat, Eris is asking me to please run Windows. I'm going to take a look at Windows, even though I'm taking a look at Ghost BSD. We'll probably do something with Windows 10 shortly too. So don't worry. We'll do. Well, I'm not going to do it in a VM. I'll probably do it on real hardware. Somebody else is also asking me, am I going to update Manjaro while I'm using BSD? It can probably go 30 days without an update and be fine. So I can, take the Manjaro drive out of this machine, and if I don't update it for a month, it'll probably be okay. A month is not that long. Carl says, enough with the Windows BS. This is DistroTube, not spyware tube.
Well, I know I got both my wife and son on Windows 10, so I have to keep up with it that way.
Yeah. It'll be interesting for me because I don't know anything about Windows 10, and I need to know more about it. People ask me all the time, like support questions. I'm coming from Windows to Linux. I used to do this in Windows. How do I do this on Linux? And I don't know what they're talking about in Windows half the time. So it would be good for me to have a machine or a spare machine that had Windows on it, just to
I can give
for
this
these purposes.
Advice for anybody that's going to buy new hardware and upgrade their CPU and motherboard and they're still on Windows 7. be aware that when you go to a Ryzen or a Katy Lake processor, there's no longer support for it for Windows 10 and Windows 8. And but for me, I lost all my USB drives, so the keyboard and the mouse wouldn't work with my Windows anymore.
Wow.
Luckily,
That's
I had a
pretty drastic.
PS2 keyboard that plugs in the PS2 port of the motherboard. And I was able to run Windows from the keyboard, but it's a rough ride with no mouse.
Yeah, I bet.
Break it to you.
Get from Windows.
Sorry to interrupt. I actually have a PC that right here has a PS2 port and PS2 mouse port, like right here. It still has that port.
Yeah.
And for some odd reason, the thing with the computer I've got is a business machine that has multiple USB ports, and I can enable and disable the USB ports on them for security. It's like a business desktop kind of. It just has business features that are not commonly used in a home environment.
Well, I got a gaming motherboard, and it came with the PS2 port on it. I was really shocked.
Motherboards come a lot with PS2.
Well, down to the gaming keyboards and stuff, all got LEDs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You gotta have something to power them. So they leave that as an option. Yeah. But the motherboard I got, it's like my inside of my computer is like it's got a disco ball going on into it. The way it used to be.
That's really all. But I hate that. My PC is totally dark.
Hi to TKL up there. Can you hear us?
Yeah, he could hear us before. The problem was he had the desktop audio coming through his speakers, and we were picking that up on the stream.
Are you able to speak?
I still can't get whole workload from Windows to Linux. It just cannot get some programs to work or find alternatives that would work in such a way that I could use them.
Mm-hmm.
I got a question. I tried to download Steam through the repositories to get it to work on Linux, and it will not work. It says
What
it
distro?
had an error.
Yeah. What distro?
Mint 18.3.
That's Ubuntu.
That requires a dependency, at least a dependency. Are you running a 64 or 32-bit?
64.
Well, it requires a 32-bit dependency because that's how it works. Steam is a 32-bit program, so you need 32-bit dependencies in order for it to work correctly.
Weird. I don't have any 32-bit dependencies on my system, at least on my Ubuntu 1804.
Yeah, and any Debian or Ubuntu-based distro should take care of the dependencies for you if it's in their repos.
Yeah.
So
maybe it's in the repos.
Maybe if you have a problem, try enabling i386 architecture. But I believe on the Steam shouldn't matter because I never enabled them, and I know they're disabled.
Well, Steam requires those 32-bit dependencies because it's how it works on the 64 versions of Debian, but the 32-bit versions of Debian work just fine.
Let me open up my Mint VM.
Yeah, Steam installed fine on Peppermint 8 when I installed it. I had no problems at all.
Yeah, I really have never had a problem installing Steam on any distro lately. I mean, it works. Certainly all the
I got Steam to run on Fedora once. I got Steam to run on a 64-bit version of Fedora at least at one time until I managed to break the Fedora installation by installing Plasma, which kind of did something to the network on the system that caused it not to connect to the internet no more. So I was kind of left with a broken system that could not get online due to the networking in Fedora was messed up due to something was installed that broke it. So I don't know what triggered the break it.
Now, this is the error I get. It says fatal error : failed to load steami.so.
Yeah, that's a dependency. Let me just check and install it on my Mint install. I have a VM of it. Like I have 20 VMs of like different software.
So that's a dependency error then that you're experiencing, Dan, that prevents you from trying to successfully enable it.
Yeah, it's probably
that is the error that I just gave you. Is when you click on it in the menu.
Yeah, let me install it. So you did it from what's it called, the repository?
Yeah, it downloaded. The repository download Steam and one other dependency with it.
Okay, let me just see.
Big Pod to the rescue.
Like I'm Linux user for like a couple of months, so I don't know how much I'll be for the rescue.
No.
But that's okay, because sooner or later I'll Google it or whatever you call it these days, and probably DuckDuckGo it, and somebody will have a fix.
Well, what you could also do is go and see if you could find a .deb package for Steam and install that and see if that
terminal.
Yeah, and then use the package or
you wouldn't find a .deb package of Steam only in the repositories of Debian unless you have the non-free things enabled. That's the only time you can find it. You can't find it on the Valve website. I don't think you can do that. Find it on the Steam's website itself. I don't think. I think you could.
Yeah, they used to offer a deb pack. Yeah.
Then what exact did you type in the console? What exact command?
I didn't type anything in. I opened up the repository package manager in Mint and just clicked on it and put in.
Oh, I tried through apt installer. That's normally. Try through apt Steam.
Dan, can you put the error message in chat? In Zoom chat?
Oh, I have 19,
sure.
So that might be different. But for me, it actually installed completely normally on Mint 19.
Mm-hmm.
That way, I can kind of have it also like printed out, have it a printout just to figure out, just to see what in more detail. I'm curious to how Dan fixed the problem.
Yeah, Eris in the chat is giving you the dpkg command to add 32-bit support. So maybe
first try installing through apt. First try that. But then if it doesn't work, go for the architecture. Like
before you try to reinstall too, you need to get rid of what you've already got installed. So I would sudo apt purge. Steam, just get rid of everything you've done so far and then restart and then
for
install.
me, it did it like completely normally, and I believe it did install some 32-bit dependencies. Yes, it did. Like a couple of them are 32-bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, somehow I knew you guys were going to say that.
Yeah,
it's
but
usually we had to go with everything else that didn't work right out of the repository, is use the terminal to put the stuff in.
I personally don't like using a terminal, but on Linux it works.
Yeah. The reason a terminal comes in handy is when things like this come up. The terminal is going to give you some output as far as what the problem is. So it's easier to figure out.
You can copy and paste that output on a form or save it to a text file to share with someone else to read later for help.
I put it out on the YouTube chat.
Mm-hmm. All right. Can you put it to the Zoom chat? I might have to look at the chat.
For stuff like package management, I still use terminal. I don't know, I find it more convenient than using like something like Synaptic or Octopi.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I put it out.
All right, I see it. Okay, it says failed to load steam.steami.so. That's a shared object file, I think is what it is. That's just probably missing from here.
Yeah, it's some kind of library that it's missing. Yeah,
it's not even.
It's library missing. First try with apt, or maybe it's 1803. That's the problem. But on 19 it works completely okay.
Oh, it can't be 18.3, man. This is a rock solid system.
I know, but sometimes a bit older versions just stop working. Well, Dan, welcome to Linux then.
Yeah.
But you know what? When I replaced all my hardware in my box, I plugged all my hard drives in. Windows would not boot up and operate. The Linux drive came to life immediately and worked, including all the VMs and the VM that had Windows in it.
Yeah, I personally keep a Linux installed on my USB hard drive which I carry around, and I use it in school, on my PC, on laptop. Even I was in a hotel, I used it to run Linux on the computer which was locked down.
Oh,
No.
But I got around. Okay, I am a computer technician by schooling, but okay.
But what I would do, Dan, is
go for this year.
I would go over to the Mint forums and I would try to launch Steam from a terminal. You're going to get some error output, and post that over on the Mint forums, and those guys will have some idea of what the library is that's giving you problems. It's something that you're missing that needs to be installed on your system.
well, if I had this trouble, someone else out there's got
Yeah.
it too and has the fix.
Probably. Yeah, exactly. So I'm sure, you know, it's not much to it. Somebody will be able to point you in the right direction right away.
Linux is much more friendly with the fixes on the internet than Windows is.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's no lie.
Truth be told, I had less problems on finding fixes for Windows.
But what I would do is, before I go to the Mint forums, I would go ahead and do an app to remove, get rid of your current Steam, try to reinstall, see if that works. If that doesn't, remove that. Get the .deb package from Steam, and try to install. Yeah, and then try to install the deb pack. You'll have to do that in the command line, but it's an easy command. dpkg. Or you can use gdebi for the GUI.
What do they call that? A flat pack?
No, it's just normal Debian package.
It's just a normal Debian package file. It ends in .deb. So
just a hint here: if you have the deb package, you should probably better to write sudo apt install // and the package name, because actually works better because it automatically gets dependencies and everything.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because dpkg doesn't do dependency resolving. Yeah, it sure doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah. For me, it opens normally, Steam and everything. Just did an update and I logged in normally.
No.
Well, thank you guys.
But I mean, that'll just take you a couple of minutes to try those. If it doesn't work, again, I would just post the error message you're getting over on the Mint forum. Somebody will answer you. Or you could even try their IRC chat channel, their support channel in IRC chat. Might get you a faster answer.
Slow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm outside because the weather's a lot nicer in my area. It's just a lot nicer to be outside.
It's great here.
To get fresh air.
That's beautiful in Chicagoland.
Yeah, I'm
down in the
Michigan.
south, so it's going to be a lot rainy and stormy down in the south.
Build a night here, so.
Hey Tim, is your audio working? Can you your mic working? I don't know if Tim is. TKO?
He's looking at something.
Yeah. He might have us muted. He might not. Yeah. No, he's trying to speak, but if you're trying to speak, we can't hear you. Yeah.
How's the weather, ET, in your area?
How is what?
The weather.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it was about 100 degrees today. So,
Ouch.
Wow.
Yeah,
It was raining in my area earlier in the day, so.
Yeah.
Well, I had that kind of weather up here in Michigan last week, and then it went over to visit English Bob yesterday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Down here in down here in Louisiana, June, July, August, early September, it's going to be 95 plus every day for a high temperature. That's just hot and humid. Yeah.
English Bob's going, it's a blooming Mediterranean outside.
Yes. Drunk Red Ninja says, "Sup DT, just wanted to drop in and thank you for providing quality, objective information without the loony ideology." Well, thank you. I don't know how objective my information is. Everybody's subjective about stuff, but I guess you're right. I'm not a loony. So
I personally kind of hate that like some guys do, like that FSF all the time. FSF is important, nothing else is.
Oh, yeah. Well, people ask me all the time, what's the best Linux distro or what's the best desktop environment? I really have no answer to that question because I like them all. I try everything. I'm not really a fanboy of anything. I mean, I guess
people ask me stuff like that. I say, what works for you?
Whatever works best on your hardware.
Use the tool you need. If that is Windows, use Windows. If that is Linux, use Linux. That is Mac, use Mac.
By the way, DistroTube, the desktop I showed, the desktop I showed earlier, didn't mean to cut you off, but it actually uses a Intel Core 2 processor with Windows 10. I had Windows 7. Someone else had the computer, but they did not really wipe the computer before they just gave it away or threw it away.
Yeah, you know those.
They didn't even wipe it, so I had to wipe it manually.
Those Intel Core 2 Duos, they run Linux great too, William.
I actually had a Dell laptop and some of my old YouTube videos that run Linux just as well when I tried it. It's just that I tried it and it ran really well. But again, the only thing I've noticed is this is what I don't get. DT, do you have to have a powerful computer to play Ballistic Overkill, or how do you? But you do Linux videos. You don't do any kind of gaming videos. You really don't. I can tell.
Well, I mean, I've got a rig that can do some gaming. Ballistic Overkill, you can get by without having a powerful rig for that. It's not that hard on your CPU or graphics. Ballistic Overkill isn't. Now, some of the other games,
streaming and recording VMs is quite hard.
Now, streaming me playing Ballistic Overkill and doing a live stream in OBS, and then having Discord open and chatting with people, and you need a machine for that. Because that's really hard, especially on your CPU, live streaming and playing a game. So, yeah, you better have a machine to actually live stream if you're going to game.
I used to do a recording on 10-year-old laptop. I used to record some videos, but those never got published. I'm still trying to make my first Linux video.
Yeah,
I just don't get it right.
Yeah. I'm using a NVIDIA 1060 graphics card, pretty decent graphics card. Do I need a 1060 to play things like Ballistic Overkill? No, not really, but I do need that 1060 card to do these live streams. It does help render video. When I pre-record video and then later have to edit video and render video, you need a graphics card for that. I mean, you don't want to wait all day for video to render, so a good CPU and a good GPU. Yeah.
What do you use for editing videos?
Kdenlive.
I can't get that software to work for me. I just hate it.
No. What I do these days, I try to do less video editing these days. I try to, of course, live streaming, I don't have to edit any video. That's why I'm doing more live streaming these days, so I don't have to edit video, because sometimes that can take hours. But even when I do pre-record, my stuff, I don't do short clips, Usually, sometimes I'll do a 10-15 minute video in one take, if I can, Even if I mess stuff up, I'm not going back and doing a second take and then having to clip things in. It just takes too much time. So,
yeah, it does. I posted my first video, and a friend of mine said, you can make it shorter by doing a lot of cuts. And it's like, do you realize how long it takes if I do a 20-minute video and then editing it in that? It takes a while. Yeah. I don't need to do fancy if otherwise fancy to watch. I guess they go elsewhere.
Because then you're chopping up all the video, and then you realize the sound quality could be better. Let me run all this through a filter in Audacity. So now you got all these MP3 files you've created that you're trying to add to Kdenlive, and then you've got like 30 different files that you're all trying to splice together and make work. It's a lot of work.
I just use Blowblade. That seems to work fine right now. I mean,
I use Resolve to splice videos together, just so it's together. Then I upload it to YouTube. I make some gaming videos, like really bad on World of Warcraft, really bad videos. I would say nobody watch it because it's so bad. It's really bad. I don't know how I got that many views. I hope now that I will make Linux videos, I will be more professional and have better videos.
I don't do much with Kdenlive. I mean, like I cut and, you know, splice video together, but I don't add, you know, like text to the screen or add any kind of effects or, you know, any weird filtering, because basically all I do, even pre-recorded video, I fire up OBS just like I've got going now. I have different scenes depending on what I'm doing. Like I have a scene if I'm doing a full screen virtual machine, or a screen if I want to show me next to a web browser showing a page in the web browser, and, you know, yada yada yada. And yeah, I don't do any real fancy stuff in Kdenlive. I pretty much record everything in OBS. And if I've got multiple videos, multiple clips that I recorded in OBS, then I just, you know, paste them together and render it. And that's it.
I have some setup as well with my OBS. And then when I'm done recording, I drop him in Resolve, set in the right order on the timeline, press deliver, set the right preset, and render.
Yeah. And just quickly, we got Daniel Bornt in the chat. He says, "Hey all, recently found you, DT. Love the content. Used to run Linux exclusively, but have to run Windows 10 for the time being." Well, you have to use what works. Good to see you though, Daniel. I think Daniel is new to our chat. I haven't seen him before. And we got a super chat from Katrina Johnson. How you doing, Katrina? Glad you could join us today. She's pitching in. "I think what you do is awesome and want to help with the cost of Zoom Pro." Appreciate that, because Zoom Pro, what we're doing this video conference in, it's free to you guys, but for me to do the stream, I have to pay them $14.99 per month for Zoom. So I appreciate that, Katrina. You just paid for Zoom Pro for this month. That really helps out. So sincerely, thank you.
Why are you using Zoom Pro?
Why am I using it?
Why is that?
Because it works. It works.
We had problems one day. We were doing stream with DT, and he had to, every 40 minutes, he had to do a new session.
Yeah, we cannot do a video conference longer than 45 minutes if I am not subscribed to Zoom Pro. Well, I take that back. Me and one other person, can video conference all day long, but the minute the third person joins, we're on a 45-minute time limit. Unless I have the Zoom Pro subscription. That's just the way it is. Probably for bandwidth purposes, you know. I mean, it's
Lucky me, I don't have to worry about that, DT. Lucky me. I'm using the client to connect to you, but lucky I don't have to worry about you getting a time limit because you're using a pro version. So
yeah. The only person that this will affect is me, because I'm hosting the conference. So you guys, I mean, you don't have to pay for anything. So.
I'm actually right now trying to get one of my friends, also computer technician. We have been to school together, and trying to convince him to start using Linux, because he used it like for some basic stuff, but I keep telling him he needs to start using it for servers, because he is like works in service center and everything, and he keeps getting computers. And I told him one day he will get Linux computer, and then he will be on the phone calling me. And why can't I help him right now if they'll have to help him over the phone, if I can just show him now how things work?
Right.
And he keeps saying no.
DistroTube. I'm stunned. It looks like you're almost like part German or something, part German or part Irish.
No, I have no idea as far as Ancestry. I've never done anything, you know, as far as, you know, getting a genome mapped or anything, whatever people do these days with the Ancestry.com stuff.
That's one big bullshit.
As far as you know, like all my people, you know, I can go back about 5 generations for all my people being right here in Louisiana. Beyond that, where they originally came from, who knows?
Your parents never brought it up to you?
Well, like I said, I know at least, I knew my great-grandparents. They were all right from here. As far as where their parents and grandparents, I don't know. So
you're native Louisianians.
Yeah, well, all my people have been right here for a while, yeah. So that's the best answer I can give you. I'm sure, you know, I could pay, but you're right, Big Pod, you know, it's all BS, these companies selling you these genome mappings,
Those sites work on the principle, if they have a genome, they compare it to some other genome. And if they have someone of your relative, they will guess that you are from there, but they will guess because they have your relative's DNA. And not because there is some, they can tell from the DNA from where you are, like for 50 generations.
Yeah.
By the way, DistroTube, I was wondering, are you going to focus on more Linux videos or kind of try to take a change of course doing a little bit of both?
A little bit of both of you doing like Windows
Linux
videos?
and non-Linux videos.
Well, Linux will always be the focus. I mean, occasionally, like the gaming stuff I do. I mean, you guys don't have to be playing Ballistic Overkill on Linux. So, I mean, I do change it up a little bit, but it's just a little bit. I mean, this is really a Linux channel. I'm not going to do anything just way off course.
I haven't even brought that yet. I mean, I haven't even got the game yet, so oops.
Just real quick, I want to get back to some of the chat for a second. Again, thank you, Katrina, for the super chat. If you got any question you want me or any of the chat to answer, feel free to ask it. Katrina mentioned she's Arco Linux in elementary. Okay. Hex wanted to ask me, any chance am I going to run an IRC channel instead of proprietary Discord? I have thought about that. I've thought about maybe trying to put up some kind of channel on the Freenode network. But I'm not sure how much time I could hang out in an IRC channel. I mean, I would have it up and running, but I probably wouldn't be there much. I'm never on my Discord channel. So.
DistroTube has got a lot of work on his hands too to deal with, so he won't be able to do all that too much.
Yeah, but I have thought about
somebody that's sitting by their computer all day that's already got one of them jobs that can look at the screen and help someone when needed.
Right. And Eris is asking, I know you studied music. Are you a professional musician? No, I don't work in the musical field. I have. I did. I have a bachelor's and a master's degree in music. Worked a little bit on a PhD in music. Did some teaching. I'm not doing anything with music now, though.
So you need to tell me you decided to become a music person?
Well, yeah, that's what I went to school for. Yeah.
Well, congrats on that, DistroTube. I mean, if you didn't do Linux, would you become a musician?
Well, I am a musician. I mean, just because I'm not doing it. Yeah, I still play. Yeah, I've been playing my whole life. So.
You really want to shock some people, break out your trombone on one of your live chats one night.
Well, I did that on one live stream. I ended the live stream by playing a recording of me playing the trombone. I had a recording of me doing a live recital many years ago. And I think a lot of people were shocked by that. If you've never heard of, like a professional level, like classical trombonist play.
I never heard classical music.
Well, that would be a real shock then. No.
Okay, I went with school, but never really listened.
Yeah.
I had my headphones on. I'm not really a music kind of guy.
Yeah. And maybe one day I'll actually upload that whole CD, maybe to my channel. I'll make a video. Of course, it'll just be audio of that CD of me playing.
Music from DistroTube. I got that. I gotta hear. Nice.
And I've used it on the channel before. Sometimes I haven't told y'all exactly what it is, but like if I need to play some audio, like in an audio player, just to test something out, on one of my videos for copyright purposes, I can't just play any audio, but I can play the stuff of myself because it's mine.
It would be interesting if DistroTube made money if he sold music and became his own music producer, like made money off his music.
I don't know about being a music producer, like writing music.
You could be a musician.
If DistroTube made good music, I'd pay him for it. I'd pay money to get it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not planning on entering that field now.
Where'd you get the music for your intro on your videos?
Now, I paid somebody for that. That little, it's only about 8 seconds.
Yeah, it's not long.
Yeah, it's just a few seconds, yeah. But that's not anything I did. Although that little bass and drum track is probably pretty simple for somebody that knows how to, even in Linux, well, I mean, we have programs for that kind of stuff.
Well, I'm just asking around because when I start my cooking with Vegemite channel,
Yeah.
I need somebody to help me.
Well, there's a lot of sites out there that you can buy these little audio clips from that are already pre-recorded for you. If you want to hire somebody to do something more custom just to you, you can get people to do music for your little intros and outros. You can also, like the animated intro I do. I didn't create that. I could, I guess, if I knew how to use something like Blender, but you would hire somebody like a freelancer to do something like that for you. It's the easiest way to go.
Yeah, some of them software packages get really deep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, DistroTube. I had to check to make sure my phone wasn't overheating due to I'm using a cellular connection and have my phone screen brightness cranked up all the way. I was doing it to make sure it didn't get too hot, or it would have shut down on me. So it would have interrupted the connection. So
and somebody in the chat,
that's too hot.
Yeah, MC support. Am I running Ghost BSD? No, we're still on Manjaro. I'm not going to do Ghost BSD until I get that IC dock. I ordered an IC dock. It's coming in next week. Then once I get that and a couple of extra SSDs, then I'll go ahead and do the BSD install. Because I want to keep my Manjaro installation too, and the IC dock will make that easy because I can have Manjaro on one SSD, Ghost BSD on another, Windows 10 on another if I wanted to go that route, and it makes distro hopping a lot easier because when I do the installs, I can unplug the disk that I know I don't want to overwrite by accident. So,
when are you gonna do another VM update?
You know what? I used to do those on stream, and those streams are always a little weird when I update all my VMs on a stream because it has to pull packages down from the internet. Because, of course, the package manager has to download all these things. That really makes the stream health bad. Like, if I wanted to update my VM of, like, some of my Gentoo based distros, like Sabian or Redcore, those things might take an hour to update. And the whole time it's pulling those packages down from the internet, the stream, it's just going to be blurry and it's just going to look horrible. So I've kind of gotten away from those, although those were fun. Just me sitting around updating VMs. But
Derek, I'm sorry. Do you have one distro that you stick with for main? You don't, or do you hop around and pick all your data and keep moving it to a new distro?
No, I mean, I hop on my main production machine. I haven't lately. I've been on Manjaro the last 2, maybe 3 months. But before that, I hopped, I want to say every week for almost 3 months. It seemed like I was on a different distro every week for like 10 weeks straight there for a while. And I got tired of that, so I stopped hopping when I finally made my way back to Manjaro. But now I'm getting the urge to hop again. That's why I did the poll, and why I'm going to try BSD for, a month if I can.
I mean, Linux does make it easy. I mean, there's just almost sometimes too many choices.
Yeah. But as far as if you got good backups, it's real easy to, like I can wipe out Manjaro. Assuming I got everything backed up, I can wipe out Manjaro and reinstall Manjaro even, and be back up and running in half an hour. No problem.
How do you drag your software along with you?
Well, I mean, yeah, you just reinstall it. What you could do, I won't say most people, but what a lot of nerds will do is they will write a script to reinstall all the software that they know they need every time they install something. So I would have a script that, has sudo pacman -S, to install, and then a list that's a mile long of all the programs I know I need, on my system. Then you just run that script. Yeah.
But I have it because I was doing a lot of testing in VMs, and I just kind of got bored and I wanted to write something.
Yeah, I usually don't bother with the script because it's not a terribly. I don't have a ton of stuff. I'm not real big on bloat. The things I need OBS, Kdenlive, Audacity, GIMP. Now that's pretty much what I do for this channel.
Yeah.
Other than that,
That's what I did the first month I got Linux. As I went out and I downloaded all the software that I thought I might use just to look at it.
No.
It's like a kid in a candy store.
Yeah. Other than that, I need a terminal, a text editor, and a web browser.
On my Arch install, I have 4 desktop managers or desktop environments.
Yeah.
I have OpenBox. I have KDE. I have GNOME. I don't know what else I have. Something else. Just can't remember right now.
Yeah, I have 4 on mine right now. 4 window managers. I have Qtile, which I'm living in now, Xmonad, i3, and Herbs to Luft. So,
personally, I can't deal with those styling window managers.
Yeah, I can deal with 3 of them. Herbs to Luft was kind of weird. I'm not sure I really like that one.
Well, it's interesting. It's interesting to see DistroTube use a lightweight window manager. I don't know how in the world DistroTube can navigate a lightweight window manager.
I mean, if you're used to just doing everything by the keyboard, it's like anything else. You spend a little time in it, it just becomes second nature. I mean, if you live in it for 2 weeks, you give it 2 weeks, then you've got it. And then you live in it 2 months, it's hard to go back to some of the other window managers you were using. Because you're going to be hitting key combinations for the things that you were doing in the tiling window manager, and they're not going to work, in KDE or GNOME or whatever you're back in. It's just like anything else. You get used to what you've been using. But the tilers are not that complicated. I mean, it's not like you have to spend a lot of time tiling windows and resizing windows and moving around. Like, when I do my demonstrations on video, I don't do much of that stuff when I'm actually living in Qtile, for example. I open up OBS, it opens up full screen on this 3rd monitor. That's all I needed. I open up my web browser, it opens up full screen on this 2nd monitor. Most everything I do is full screen windows anyway. I'm not doing much tiling.
When I downloaded OBS and opened it up, I was like, wow, this is free.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's a great program.
OBS is awesome.
Yeah. There's some other proprietary programs you could try if you run something like Windows. For us in Linux, though, OBS is really all we have.
Yeah, well, on Windows, XSplit is, I would say, better, but it's proprietary, actually paid. But for free software, OBS is awesome.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna let everybody know. Probably in about 5 minutes, I'll kill the stream. We're coming up on about 2 hours, so. I want to get back to the chat just for a second. DT, do you use symlinks to a drive that is a permanent home partition? No. I don't set up a separate home partition. I do use some symlinks to a Git directory. I set up a directory for all the files I know I'm going to upload to Git, so all my dot files. I set up symlinks to all of that stuff, so it makes me uploading everything to GitLab a lot easier. But I don't use a separate home partition for anything. By
the way, DistroTube, what do you think about GitHub being acquired by Microsoft?
What I thought of it was, as soon as I actually heard about it the day before that GitHub was thinking about selling to Microsoft. So that night, I moved all my stuff to GitLab. And then the next day, they announced that the sale was official, and I was happy I made the decision to move over to GitLab. GitLab is nice. I want no part of Microsoft.
People are just bailing out on GitHub, like as if GitHub is now taken over by Microsoft. Like people just are starting to bail out on it. So
well, it has been taken over by Microsoft. Microsoft owns it. So
someone shot a hole in it, and now it's sinking.
Yeah.
Truth be told, Microsoft will probably keep hands-off approach.
The problem with Microsoft too is just leaving ideology out of this. What has Microsoft acquired in the last 15-20 years as far as other companies they've bought? That
a lot of stuff
that worked out well for them though. Yeah, how did Hotmail work out? How's Skype looking these days?
Skype was crap always, so you know, before they acquired it, so I don't even know why they acquired it. So.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Pretty much everything they touch, it kind of turns to crap. So, you know, I wasn't invested in GitHub. It's just a place to host my files, right? Well, there's a million Git repos out there. I just moved to a different one, so.
But truth be told, I'm actually knee deep in Microsoft stuff, so I don't really care
Yeah, if you're already invested in it, yeah. See, I don't use Microsoft for anything, so there was no need for me to. It was an easy move for me. It's not like my Git repos were that big. I mean, it's just all my dot files, a few scripts I've written. Nothing crazy.
I use their Microsoft Visual Studio Git repositories, basically. Yeah. One thing I use it for is because it's free private repositories, basically. It's the only option they have. And
yeah, I'm just waiting for them to rename the GitHub, you know, because GitHub is still short and to the point for a name. It's really not a Microsoft kind of name, so they need to rename it MSVS GitHub 365.
As far as I heard,
everybody's bailing out. It's going to be a micro hub.
A micro hub, yeah.
As far as I heard through people talking and stuff, Microsoft will have like hands-off approach. The only link between Microsoft and GitHub will be the director of GitHub, who is right now director of Xamarin, which is C# version of making software for Android, but otherwise.
Yeah. And the CEO, the guy that they hired to be CEO of GitHub, he is an open source guy. I mean, the guy that they got for that position.
He was already in Microsoft, but he was leading a division that was working on Xamarin. Now they just put him to another division where he's leading GitHub.
Yeah. So I thought their decision for CEO was good. I mean, it might work out for Microsoft. Their GitHub, but again, I wasn't invested in it either way, so it was easy for me just to move on. So I don't need to see how it turns out.
Currently, Microsoft is quite invested in open source. Like their .NET Core has got quite some nice stuff from being open source. Like Samsung has put a lot of work in it and made it work on ARM and stuff like that. I really like that they did some stuff on open source, like their Linux version of an text editor, VS Code is open source,
right,
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that's the best thing I can get from like.
Well, you know what, Microsoft has another open source text editor now, because if they bought GitHub, then they have Atom, right? So.
Yeah, actually, I believe there's actually, in some ways, actually the same software, but okay, because I know they're both based on Electron, written in Electron, but I believe there's some common code in both of them.
Okay.
But truth be told, VS Code is working a million times better than Atom.
Yeah, well, I'm not a big fan of Atom. It's slow and.
Yeah, I had problems with Atom as well. In comparison to VS Code, even though it's Electron app, it's like working 10 times, if not more times better.
Now, when I open up your program and it takes 30 seconds for it to launch, that's just too long. So
never had that problem on my 10-year-old laptop with VS Code, which is the goal for programming.
Yeah.
I still don't know how I ran a freaking GNOME on it. It was low-end computer when I got it, and it was running GNOME on Ubuntu 17.10 like without any lag.
Well, guys, we're gonna have to kill the stream here in just a second. Just checking on the chat real quick. Madhouse asked me, was there any information about the company that bought OpenSUSE? I don't know anything about that company. It was just a venture capital firm, you know, just somebody looking for a good investment. Yeah.
As far as I heard, they will be investing in it a bit, and they will then let it be its own entity. Like right now, they were just a part of whatever company they were. Now they're going to let it be its own company.
Right. It's just a venture capital firm. They knew
when
SUSE.
It will rise, you just sell it like every company to everyone.
And that's all SUSE has been good for here lately, is it's been bought and sold, I don't know, half a dozen times, because it makes money, so it keeps changing hands. All right, well, I think we'll call that a night, guys. Before we go, let's get everybody that's in the video chat to give a final word. Dan, you got anything to say on our way out?
Hey, yeah, thanks for having this Zoom chat with us so we could hop on with you. It means I have to do less typing, and I don't like to do that because I have arthritis really bad.
Yeah, well, thanks for hanging out with me, Dan. William.
It's been fun.
Yes.
William, last word, sir.
I just wanted to say thanks for having this DistroTube. I'm assuming that I may eventually becoming a friend to you, DistroTube, as long as I appear in the Hangouts and appear out in Zoom and in the stream. So
not everybody in this community is friends, William.
All right, well,
all right.
It's interesting to you to suddenly pop on a short notice like this.
Well, that's why I did this. I mean, this is an open chat. That's the point of these. Anybody's free to join. So, Big Pod.
All right,
word,
well.
I will say just use whatever you need and not whatever follows some random guy's ideology.
Very
Remember
cool.
These.
Yeah. Wise words. Steven, any last words? Your audio is not working, Steven. No, check it. It's muted, maybe. No, it was working earlier. Ivan, you have any last words for us if you're there?
I think I got my idea working, but
okay.
I'm tired. It's 3 a.m. here in Macedonia.
3 a.m.
Macedonian. Nice.
Wow.
Yeah, 3 a.m. here as well in Slovenia.
No. Yeah, Steven, we still can't hear you. It's audio.
I love your channel, DistroTube.
Well, I appreciate that, Ivan.
I have been following for a couple of months, but I still can't make the switch because I'm a game developer and it's kind of hard to work on Unity in Linux. So
yeah.
How about
what you're using for development in Unity? Which software IDE?
Come again?
Which IDE you're using? Unity.
Visual Studio.
Visual Studio. Yeah.
Yeah, just like me. I'm trying to make a game, but it isn't working well for me.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, Steven.
Yeah, Steven.
Okay, yeah.
Last word for us.
Like every time I hit mute here, it changes something in Pulse Audio.
Yeah, it changes the input settings to something else.
Yeah, that's a pain. But anyway, yeah, thanks for letting me break my comfort zone here and joining. That's pretty cool. Hope next time I can have a little more to add.
Yeah, come back and
use whatever system you like. Don't let anybody tell you what's the best.
And all you guys are welcome to come
whatever
back.
Whatever works for me, really. That's how I do it.
No. And before I go, of course, I've got to thank everybody that's still hanging out in the chat. We still got a few people hanging out with us even after 2 hours. Undefined, Sky, Ron, Peter, OBS, MC Support, Katrina, Hobo, Hex, Daniel, Dan, Bud Labs, Luke. Appreciate you guys for hanging out. Of course, before we go, I do have to do a special thanks to my patrons, all my Patreon supporters: David, Carlos, Nick, Daniel, Brian, Leor, AK, Ron, Keith, Dan, Michael, Tony, Bruno, David, Mike, Silvio, Omar, Mark, Mr. Neely Pops, John, Carl, Greg, Rob, Matt, Christian, Tiedemann, Stephen Z, Eduardo, Alex, Jake, Benjamin, Stephen B, Marcus, Interceptor, Tubella, Humade, First Paul, Second Paul, Chuck, Ben, John, Swami, Mr. Smarty Pants, Dan, and Bart. You guys rock. You guys help make this show possible.
Did you rehearse that?
I've said that a few times. Huh? All right.
That's like a bidder. That's like a bidder talking so, like a eBay bidder or auction bidder talking so fast. Wow. Pull that off.
All right. Thank you.
Take care.
Have a good evening, everybody.
Derek.